Welcome. We bring you Japan's latest news every day. AI sums up what matters, so you can stay informed in English in just a few minutes. If you find it helpful, please like and subscribe. Fair Trade Commission issues recommendation to Kawai musical instruments for violating Freelancer protection law. The Fair Trade Commission has issued a recommendation to Kawai musical instruments, a major musical instrument manufacturer operating music schools nationwide, for conducting unfair transactions with freelance instructors. The problematic conduct involved forcing instructors to accept trial lessons at drastically low compensation rates, a practice known as beating down. The Fair Trade Commission determined that the company violated the law protecting freelancers and has demanded that it set appropriate compensation levels and improve its contract terms. The Freelancer Protection Law was enacted in 2024 to safeguard workers' rights, and this recommendation represents an important action against unreasonable treatment of freelance workers by major corporations. 25-year-old man arrested on suspicion of attempted robbery, suspected of serving as organizer and recruiter, says Metropolitan Police Department. The Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department has arrested a 25-year-old man on suspicion of attempted robbery in connection with a robbery incident that occurred in Koto Ward, Tokyo in March of this year. The man is accused of breaking into a company office and residential space, assaulting a resident couple through a door, and attempting to steal their valuables. According to the police investigation, the man likely served a dual role as both the organizer and recruiter of the incident. To date, other suspects involved in the case have also been identified, and the organizational structure of what appears to be a robbery gang has begun to emerge. The Metropolitan Police Department plans to continue tracking down related individuals and work toward a complete resolution of the case. 23-year-old defendant sentenced to 27 years in prison for death of high school student in Asahikawa, Hokkaido. The Asahikawa District Court has sentenced a 23-year-old defendant to 27 years in prison in connection with the death of a 17-year-old high school student who fell from a bridge into a river in Asahikawa, Hokkaido. The defendant was charged with murder, unlawful confinement, and other offenses in connection with pushing the victim off a bridge in Asahikawa 2 years ago. The court determined that the defendant conspired with multiple classmates to commit the crime, placing the victim under their control through violence and bullying. The court emphasized that the crime was extremely heinous and that the immeasurable psychological suffering endured by the victim and their family warranted a severe sentence. This case has become a major social issue, and preventing recurrence of serious crimes committed by juveniles remains an important challenge. New cancer treatment drug targeting common genetic mutations across different cancer types now available. A team including the National Cancer Center has announced the successful development of a therapeutic drug targeting genetic mutations common to different types of cancer, which has received government approval. The drug is expected to be effective against many cancer types, including rare cancers and childhood cancers, which have had limited treatment options until now. Traditionally, different treatment methods were required for each type of cancer, but this new approach expands the possibility of more patients benefiting from treatment. Going forward, the practical application of this drug in clinical settings is expected to advance. Deputy Chief Cabinet Secretary Sato inspects TEPCO's Kashiwazaki-Kariwa nuclear plant, emphasizing safety first. Deputy Chief Cabinet Secretary Sato, who heads the government's monitoring team, visited the Kashiwazaki-Kariwa nuclear power plant operated by Tokyo Electric Power Company. Unit 6 only began commercial operations last month. Deputy Chief Cabinet Secretary Sato strongly urged Tokyo Electric Power to maintain an unwavering commitment to prioritizing safety. The Kashiwazaki-Kariwa plant, located in Niigata Prefecture, remains under strict government oversight due to past scandals. The government has pledged to continue ongoing monitoring to ensure both the facility's safety and maintain the trust of local residents. Latest technology debuts at Soccer World Cup. Can AI capture Endo Wataru's strategic thinking? As Japan's national soccer team prepares for the FIFA World Cup in North and Central America, veteran player Endo Wataru has announced his retirement. Now, a groundbreaking project is underway to teach artificial intelligence his strategic thinking and decision-making abilities. An AI application development company has spent approximately 2 years conducting direct interviews with Endo, converting his experience, tactical vision, and decision-making processes into data. The resulting AI is expected to be used for match analysis and player development in soccer. By combining cutting-edge technology with human expertise, new possibilities are emerging in the world of sports. Endo's knowledge has been digitized and will become a valuable tool for training the next generation of players. Upper House Budget Committee debates defamatory videos and consumption tax cuts. The Diet held proceedings on the afternoon of the 22nd at the Upper House Budget Committee. The opposition parties launched sharp questioning regarding a report in Weekly Bunshin alleging that Prime Minister Takechi's campaign posted videos attacking and defaming other candidates. The Prime Minister's office indicated its intention to verify the facts of the matter. Active debate also unfolded over consumption tax reductions on food products. The opposition parties argue that lowering the consumption tax is necessary to support households struggling with living costs. Meanwhile, the ruling government coalition has taken the position that it must carefully examine the impact on tax revenues, and attention is focused on how the situation will develop going forward. LDP and Japan Innovation Party leaders meet ahead of final Diet session to push through coalition-based bills. Senior officials from the Liberal Democratic Party and the Japan Innovation Party held talks regarding how to handle the final phase of the current Diet session. During the meeting, they reconfirmed their shared commitment to passing key bills based on their coalition agreement during this session, including legislation aimed at realizing the Osaka, Fu-Sho-Do concept. The Deputy Capital concept is a major policy initiative championed by the Innovation Party, which aims to achieve it through their coalition with the LDP. Both parties agree on the need to steadily advance their coalition agreement within the limited remaining Diet schedule. They plan to accelerate bill adjustments through relevant party committees going forward. Prime Minister Takaichi reports in writing on correction of parliamentary statement regarding defamatory video. Prime Minister Takaichi has submitted a written report to the House of Councillors Budget Committee explaining the circumstances surrounding her correction of a parliamentary statement. The report concerns Shukan Bunshin's coverage alleging that members of her campaign posted videos defaming other candidates. The written report details the sequence of events from the initial statement through to the correction. Prime Minister Takaichi explained that time was required to confirm the facts of the matter and expressed her apologies for the erroneous statement. She has announced her intention to strengthen strict management systems regarding political activities to prevent similar incidents from occurring in the future. The opposition is expected to continue raising questions about the delayed initial response and lack of transparency. Yen falls to mid-160s range against dollar as U.S. rate hike expectations grow. In the Tokyo foreign exchange market on the 22nd, the yen weakened to the mid-160s range against the dollar. The primary factor was widening expectations for a U.S. interest rate increase. As the possibility of rising American interest rates became more apparent, market participants began to anticipate a further widening of the interest rate differential between the U.S. and Japan. When interest rate gaps expand, traders become more active in buying dollars, which offer higher returns, while selling yen, which has become relatively less attractive. This trend of selling yen and buying dollars has intensified, pushing the yen further down against the dollar. Going forward, the direction of U.S. monetary policy is likely to have a significant impact on yen exchange rates. Junior West President supports Obama Kyoto route for Shinkansen extension following government analysis. Regarding the route for extending the Chuo Shinkansen to Shin Osaka, the government presented a comparative analysis of the cost-effectiveness of 8 proposed routes. In response, Junior West Japan President Shoji Kurosaka reiterated his support for the Obama-Kyoto route as the optimal choice. This route would connect the Hokuriku region through Kyoto to Osaka and is expected to generate significant economic ripple effects throughout the surrounding areas. The government's analysis shows differing costs and profitability across multiple routes. Going forward, adjustments toward a final route decision will proceed, taking into account the opinions of relevant local governments and experts. Stock prices close above 72,000 yen for first time, marking sixth consecutive record closing high. The Nikkei stock average surpassed the 72,000 yen mark for the first time on the Tokyo Stock Exchange on Monday the 22nd. The rally was driven by concentrated buying orders following growing expectations of progress in discussions regarding the Iran situation. This marks the sixth consecutive business day in which the closing price has set a new record high. The strong stock market performance reflects a combination of easing geopolitical risk concerns and optimistic outlooks on corporate earnings. Going forward, developments in international affairs and corporate earnings announcements are likely to be key factors determining the market's direction. British Prime Minister Starmer announces resignation as pressure mounts within party. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced on the 22nd his intention to resign. Starmer indicated he will step down as leader of the ruling Labour Party, but he plans to remain in the position of Prime Minister until the party leadership election to choose his successor is completed. Starmer's announcement comes as calls for his resignation have intensified within the party, suggesting that turmoil within Labour is becoming increasingly serious. Attention is now focused on how the party leadership election will proceed and who will become the next Prime Minister. Executive believed to be leader of international criminal organization arrested for submitting false address registration. The Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department has arrested a 44-year-old executive at a Cambodian conglomerate, believed to be a leader of an international online fraud group. The suspect is accused of submitting a false address registration to a ward office in Tokyo's Chuo ward. The group has been sanctioned by U.S. authorities as one of Asia's largest international criminal organizations, and is believed to have repeatedly committed fraud schemes on a global scale. The Tokyo Metropolitan Police believe the suspect may have submitted the fraudulent registration to establish a base for fraud activities within Japan, and they plan to continue investigating the suspect's motives and background in detail. Russia's military invasion of Ukraine. Developments on June 22. Updates. Here's the latest on the situation in Ukraine. Russia's military offensive against Ukraine continues, with fighting intensifying particularly in the eastern regions. Ukrainian forces are mounting defensive operations across multiple areas, but civilian casualties are mounting, forcing large numbers of residents to flee the country to neighboring Poland and other nations. According to the United Nations, millions of people have already been displaced from their homes. Meanwhile, the international community is stepping up pressure on Russia, with the G7 and European Union considering additional economic sanctions. Ukrainian President Zelensky is calling for continued international support, and countries around the world are accelerating humanitarian and military aid efforts. We will continue to update you with the latest developments from the battlefield on June 22. Direct talks between the United States and Iran end first round with positive progress, mediating nations announce. Negotiations aimed at reaching a final agreement to end the war between the United States and Iran began on the 21st at Bergenstock, a resort in Lucerne, Switzerland. Mediators Qatar and Pakistan announced early on the 22nd Japan time that the first round of talks had concluded with positive progress. The negotiations come after the U.S. and Iran agreed last week to reach a final agreement within 60 days. Qatar and Pakistan issued a joint statement in the early morning hours of the 22nd, stating that a high-level committee had agreed on a roadmap to reach a final agreement within 60 days. Technical discussions are set to continue throughout the week. The two mediating nations also revealed that a communication line has been established to avoid accidents and misunderstandings for the purpose of ensuring safe passage of commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz. Prior to this, an American diplomat explained late on the 21st that the focus of discussions centered on reopening the Strait of Hormuz, enforcing a ceasefire in southern Lebanon, and clarifying some of the unclear messages from the Iranian side regarding elements of the nuclear agreement. The diplomat also stated that both delegations are using today's talks as a starting point for future technical discussions. Earlier, U.S. President Donald Trump threatened that if Iran does not rein in the Lebanese Shiite Islamic organization Hezbollah, which continues clashes with Israel, America will attack Iran. Trump posted on social media that Iran must immediately stop the proxy forces it is paying large sums to in Lebanon from causing problems, or otherwise the U.S. would attack Iran very severely again. BBC gains rare access to Israeli-occupied areas of southern Lebanon, documents destroyed homes. The BBC has recently obtained a rare opportunity to report from parts of southern Lebanon occupied by Israel during the war between Israel and Hezbollah, the Shiite Islamic organization in Lebanon. The news team accompanied a humanitarian aid convoy from the Order of Malta delivering supplies to Christian villages isolated by the conflict. The aid delivery took place on the 18th, the day before Israel and Hezbollah agreed to a ceasefire beginning at 4 p.m. On the 19th, the reporting team confirmed Israeli military deployments on the ground, though they were largely prohibited from filming during their movements. Israel states it has no intention of withdrawing its troops from Lebanon and plans to establish a security zone free of Hezbollah presence along the border with Israel to protect northern Israel from Hezbollah rockets and drones. In the Israeli-occupied areas, villages inhabited primarily by Shiites have been completely destroyed by Israeli airstrikes and other military operations. Multiple human rights organizations have pointed out that these areas have also witnessed cases that amount to the intentional destruction of civilian infrastructure, potentially constituting war crimes. BBC Middle East correspondent Hugo Bachega and video journalist Neha Sharma have documented the current situation in southern Lebanon.